It's a hot summer evening in New York City, where the sun is beginning to set beyond the horizon. An emergency helicopter flies overhead, while the windows of storefronts and high-rises flicker to life. At this hour, the Big Apple is winding down, but your day is only just beginning. There you are now, sitting on the counter of a dark kitchen. You are a German cockroach, one of the city's most common pests. Usually, you wouldn't show yourself in the open, but you've been drawn out by an irresistible scent. A box of pizza sits open on the countertop. Inside is a half-eaten slice, waiting to be scavenged. With your strong mandibles, you tear off a crumb of stale cheese and devour it as quickly as you can. As you eat, your antennae dance in the air. They map every scent in the room, probing for the faintest hint of danger. Suddenly, a light turns on in the next room. Footsteps pound against the floor, sending shockwaves that your legs instantly sense. You ditch the half-eaten crumb and scurry across the counter. In seconds, you're gone. This time, you avoided danger, but you've still got a long day ahead. With your gut full of pizza, you squeeze into a hidden crawl space. You weave through electrical wires and puffy insulation, following a trail of musty pheromones. At the end of the trail is a loose gathering of shells and twitching antennae. There's no order or hierarchy here, no queens or workers, just a bustling mass of roaches, known as an aggregation. They've been drawn together by pheromones and food, and you're here to contribute. Surrounded by familiar faces, you drop a few nutrient-rich pellets of feces. Baby cockroaches, known as nymphs, gather around to enjoy the feast. It's not a Michelin star meal, but it's how cockroaches like you share the love. After dropping a few more pellets, you go looking for a drink. Snaking through the crawl space, you find a leaky pipe, dripping with dirty water. You're about to take a sip when your antennae detect a strange odor from behind you. It's sharp and pungent and prickles the sensory hairs on your legs. Back at the aggregation, a slender metallic nozzle slowly creeps through a crack. It's an exterminator's spray gun. Hissing fills the air as the nozzle fires a cloud of toxic mist. Immediately, your aggregation panics as bodies scatter in every direction. You duck and dive as the poisonous cloud nips at your feet. All around you, family, friends, and neighbors are choking, burning, and vanishing into the fumes. If you can't find a way out, you will be next. So you take the first exit you can find. You squeeze through a narrow crack in a broken pipe. Pumping your little legs, you charge headlong into the darkness. You have no idea what lies ahead, but at this point, there's no turning back. You follow the pipeline into the city's underworld, a labyrinth of murky sewer tunnels. Potent smells linger in the air as black water streams from one void into the next. An American cockroach, one of your larger relatives, carries away a chunk of rotting food. This is usually their domain, so you'd better tread lightly. Up ahead, you find a small crack where you take a moment to rest. But suddenly, a dark shape scurries across the wall. Is it another cockroach? No, it's something much larger. A Norway rat emerges from the darkness, a beast thousands of times heavier than you. Its beady eyes flash as it bares its chisel-like teeth. It steps closer, and you prepare to run for your life. In situations like these, your speed is often all you have to rely on. As you're about to flee, you feel a distant rumble. The giant rat whimpers and takes off running. You have no idea what scared him away, but you're about to find out. A surge of rainwater comes roaring through the sewer. The torrent sweeps you up, sending you tumbling head over thorax. Somehow, in the chaos, you latch your claws onto a bobbing yogurt lid. With all your might, you pull yourself aboard, turning this piece of trash into a life-saving raft. Riding the current, you spot the Norway rat paddling toward a side ledge. He disappears upstream as the surge ferries you away, further into the unknown. When the surge dissipates, you hop back onto dry land. You smell something that lifts your spirits, the faint scent of pheromones left by another cockroach. Could this be your way back home? You follow the scent through a maze of pipes and stinky water until a light appears at the end of a tunnel. You poke your head out of a silver drain on the floor. What you discover is a world very different from the one you left behind. A porcelain toilet gleams under harsh LED lights. Large white walls tower all around you. You move slowly, senses on high alert as you survey this alien landscape. The faint scent of home guides you across the slippery tile floor. It leads to a suspicious brown structure that reeks of oily bait. As you creep closer, you have a bad feeling. and sure enough, your worst fears come true. Another German cockroach, one of your kind, lies deathly still, ensnared by the trap's sticky floor. You're about to turn away when a tiny brown insect crawls into the trap. She's a coconut ant, scientifically known as Tapinoma sessile. With nimble precision, she skirts along the trap's dusty margins, avoiding the adhesive floor. She isn't interested in the bait. She wants a piece of the roach. Severing a speck of meat, she tucks it between her mandibles. She then exits the trap without losing so much as a limb. For a moment, you stand face to face. You're 6 times longer and much heavier, yet she doesn't waver. With firm determination, she marches back from where she came, vanishing through a tiny crevice in the tile. With nowhere else to go, you decide to follow in her footsteps. You squeeze under the floor, through cracks, grooves, and service conduits, until you emerge outdoors into a community garden. The soil is moist under your feet, sprinkled with minerals and fertilizer. Over your head hangs a canopy of spinach leaves and bumpy purple kale. As you walk deeper into the garden, you spot the coconut ant's nest, built on a warm heap of compost. Unlike your aggregation, her colony functions like a well-oiled machine. Workers excavate loose compost and transport chunks of food back to the nest. Nurses tend to pearly white larvae. Somewhere underground, multiple queens lay eggs that will become the next generation of workers. It seems like nothing can disturb their productivity. That is, until a low tremor ripples through the soil. The vegetable canopy begins to shake as a lumbering figure descends on the garden. It's a hungry raccoon, drawn to the smell of compost. With its agile claws, it digs into the ground, sending the ants into a frantic retreat. Some are crushed underfoot, filling the air with a rotten coconut odor. Amidst the chaos, you try to slip away, but a huge, fluffy tail blocks your path. The only way out is to climb. Like pushing through a tangle of vines, you carve through the raccoon's coarse guard hairs. Then suddenly, you're lifted into the air. The raccoon's tail flicks and sways as you hold on for dear life. Before you know it, you're being carried out of the garden, far from the coconut ants, from the sewer, and from that horrible brown trap. However, the ride doesn't last long. The nudge of a claw knocks you back onto the hard ground. You scramble to your feet as the raccoon trudges back into the shadows. Suddenly you're alone, and your world has changed again. All around you now, you see spires of glass and concrete. Neon signs pulse in the darkness, stabbing your crude eyes. A car whips past you, and the rush of air nearly blows you off your feet. Terrified, you dart into the first doorway you can find. Little do you know that you're running into a death trap. Strobe lights flash. The music booms like distant thunder. In a panic, you sprint along the bar floor when a giant shoe slams down beside you. You duck sideways, but another foot blocks your path. You desperately run toward the wall, looking for a crack, a gap, anywhere you can hide and escape this madness. All you find is a corner. You press yourself flat, wishing you could disappear. But you've already been spotted. A shadow looms over you. It's bigger than any creature you've encountered so far. Before you can run, a paper cup drops over your head. Suddenly, your world turns upside down. Then, just as quickly, it turns again, sending you tumbling onto the cool pavement. You're back outside. The strobing lights are gone, the thumping music too. In front of you, a pair of giant shoes retreat through an open door. When it closes, your world is quiet again. You're shaken and overstimulated, but at least you're alive. For a while, you sit still, struggling to go on. You've pushed yourself beyond the point of exhaustion. You're about to give up when your antennae catch the faintest whiff of a familiar scent, the smell of home. Your instincts spark like a match. Your tiny feet burst into motion. Using every bit of energy you have left, you run toward the source, between cracks and crevices, into the shadows and muck, until at last you find them, your aggregation, clustered under a heap of moldy cardboard. You slip back into the huddle as the first hints of morning crawl up the alley walls. The long night is over. A new day begins, and for you, that means some much-needed rest. Life as a cockroach can be dangerous, but wedged safely among your kin, you wouldn't have it any other way.